If you want to switch, I'll switch.
No, it's okay.
This is my good side. So, but yeah. So thank you so much, Diana, for being here today.
You're welcome.
And
it's such an honor to be here, Michelle.
Thank
really.
you. Thank you. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
Well, I grew up in Covina. My family were realtors. Both my mom and dad were the first husband and wife team in San Gabriel Valley, and they worked out of ReMax Masters in Covina.
Yep.
And so growing up, I was interested in what they were doing, but wasn't sure if it was something for me. And when I started my family, I decided that I wanted to go into business and continue the legacy that my parents left. So that's where I'm at now. I'm a realtor in the area, but I service areas outside of Covina as well. So
I've seen a couple of your new listings. Upland, was it?
I've had Upland, right now Ontario.
Ontario.
And I'm working with buyers in other areas too. So Merino Valley is a recent one. So
Yeah.
we go where our clients need us to go.
How has COVID affected real estate right now?
Well, it's interesting because we didn't know if we were essential in the beginning, and then as things were unfolding, we were deemed essential. And so there's been a lot of information that is a little bit confusing to everybody. But in real estate, you know, luckily I have an office that is on top of all of the new legislation that's coming out to protect buyers and sellers, our clients, ourselves. And so we have to follow CDC guidelines and make sure that if we do have a listing, for example, I showed the listing and I had to make sure that I posted a disclosure at the front of the door so that people were aware that they're entering at their own risk and they need to follow the CDC guidelines.
Oh, wow.
And when I was done, I had to disinfect the home. So I had to make sure all the door handles were clean. I had to wipe down all the hard surfaces, as well as clean the floors and vacuum because we had people coming through touring the house.
Yeah. You know, I actually like all the additional cleaning protocols as a germaphobe. You know, having to clean mats, having to clean equipment, having to constantly sanitize our hands. I feel like this is stuff we should have been doing all along.
Right?
But it's a little bit more work for you, but...
I think for everybody, you know, hats off to the people in the service industry. They've had to really step up, and now they have to clean everything. You know, it's good, and it is a burden as well, but it's to protect the public, and so I think it's important that we take those measures.
It was great that you're doing that and taking the time to do that. I do recall at the beginning of the pandemic, I had asked you, hey, how's it going? And then you had just found out that your daughters were going to be doing virtual learning.
Oh, yes.
At home. So if you wouldn't mind explaining kind of what went through your mind thinking, okay, how am I going to run my business and how am I going to facilitate learning? And how old are your daughters and what are their names?
I'm raising two girls. One is 13. Her name's Brooklyn, and she does soccer.
Yeah.
Sedona is my 9-year-old, and she does Kuk Sool Won.
She does.
She's my little warrior.
Yeah.
Both are very strong girls, but it is tough trying to figure out, okay, these are the cards that we're being dealt with, and things are going to change. Luckily, kids are very flexible. I think at the time we were about 2 weeks till spring break, and actually we were planning to be out of the country for a family wedding, and everything got shut down.
That's right, Columbia, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's still slowly opening. So we didn't have a lot of information from the schools yet because nobody had information. So we just took it day by day. And finally, when we started getting the instruction from the teachers, it was mostly, you know, a packet that we received to kind of do independent work.
Mm-hmm.
And then I decided, you know what, I'm not going to worry about this because I think really education comes first from the home. And we shouldn't have, you know, our teachers parenting our kids and, you know, implementing, I guess, I know growing up for me, sometimes our parents decided, oh, our teachers are the ones that should raise us, you know, in some sense. And so if there's nothing wrong at school, then we don't even talk about it or address it at all. But
So you kind of saw this as an opportunity to, like you said, educate from the home.
absolutely.
And I do recall you had said, hey, I'm so thankful that I have the opportunity to be running my own business and then put more time into family right now.
Yeah,
And
because
that's stuck with me since we had that conversation.
I
That
think,
was so cool.
thank you. I think being raised in a real estate family, I look at things differently. You know, we didn't have the technology that we did when I was younger. There were times that my parents, we couldn't leave for a vacation, or their clients took precedence over some of our personal family things. So I try to look at that as well. And I am very grateful that my job allows me the flexibility to stay home. And so I can work from home. I can work from anywhere if that happens. So that's a blessing. But I also thought, you know, time goes by so fast, and these kids are going to grow up. And if I'm feeling the stress, can you imagine these kids? So I'm not going to sweat it. You know, it is what it is, as that's the new tagline nowadays. It is what it is. And we're just going to take it one day at a time. My family's the most important thing. So to me, just being able to take that quality time was a blessing.
And that's a wonderful perspective. With everyone, you know, just being so anxious and stressed right now, it's so good to hear it is what it is.
What can we do about it?
We're going to have technical difficulties. We're going to
Mm-hmm.
forget to log on. We're going to miss a Zoom.
The lights, the electricity goes out.
The electricity goes out in the middle of distance
Mhm.
learning. I mean, it is what it is.
It's all happened. So when we started officially in August, we started school. And our school district is amazing. We started with a lot of technical difficulties in the beginning, and as we're getting all accustomed to the schedule, and for the teachers it's been very difficult as well. Imagine having to learn something from scratch.
For sure.
Basically.
I trained a couple of teachers in personal training, and they've just been dealing with having to rework their lesson plans, not having student engagement, and so it's been double or triple the work on their plates of just trying to figure out how to, you know, still help kids get the education that they should, and navigate all the technical difficulties. It's very interesting. I do recall that you guys set up a distance learning in your house.
Yeah, so we have little spaces.
Yeah.
I have distance learning too.
Oh, really?
Because I have to set up my workspace as well as my daughter's workspace, so they're not on top of each other or hear each other when they're participating in the class, because a huge part of their grade comes from class participation. So if they're speaking out on their Zoom call, then the other one is listening or can't, you know, be productive in that sense. And then I'm on a phone call, so we have to kind of juggle that. But I tried to do my best as a parent. I thought, okay, what's going to allow focus, creativity, and just a different environment for them, so they don't feel like they're confined or they can't, they're a little distracted. So I went ahead and I created their own little desk with a wall, a positivity wall. The little one, my daughter Sedona, she had, I found some decals. I went to like a Dollar Tree and I found the word positive, and it had some little words under this. I said vibe, strong, learn. And then the other one, it was more of a ability to do, and I can't think what the words were, but it was very inspiring. And I picked the colors teal as her backdrop, so we repainted. It was a family affair. You know, everybody had input. It was fun. And those are the things that we remember, you know, that we all kind of chipped in and thought of, what are we going to do as a family to make this the best that we can?
Man, I want to be doing distance learning at your house.
You can come over.
That sounds so great. How did you pick teal?
Teal to me always, blue is a soothing color. First of all, they always say, okay, if you want calmness in your area, or if you want to exude calmness, pick a blue color. Teal, I think, also inspires creativity, and my older daughter is incredibly creative. It just resonated inspiration, so that's why I came out with that color.
That's so awesome. I might link some pictures
Oh, yeah.
if you want to share, because I know we're going to have some parents that'll tune into this conversation, and I'm sure they'll be inspired by just your thought with your layout. Like if we're going to have one student here that has to be able to talk and interact, and then I'm going to have my meeting over here. If you've got pictures of their learning space, I would love to maybe drop that into this video for people to see.
Sure.
We'll at least be doing the distance learning for the next couple of months.
I think so. I think it would be a detriment to change things now. I know everybody has different thoughts about it, but just speaking with the teachers and myself, as I'm just starting to get it and I have it down, it would be disruptive for the kids to change at this point. So every child is different. I know it's not the perfect situation, but maybe we go back in January. Let's just finish this year out, and we'll start fresh back in classes, because I think they do need the class. They need their friends. We haven't interacted with friends since we were all shut down, so people need that.
Have you noticed that that's had any sort of impact on your daughters, having less interaction with their friends, not being at school every day surrounded by kids?
I think for the little one, it's harder for her to focus sometimes on the screen. So she definitely needs to be in a classroom setting, and I'm always having to kind of look over her shoulder throughout the day. And I wasn't a proponent of electrical devices to begin with, because I want them to social interact. So I try to limit their time on their iPad and video games and things like that. But I think this has just taught me, this whole situation, just to let go and just let them be happy. I'm not going to worry about that. And so the interaction they have is online with their friends. They do play video games with their friends after they're done with their homework, or they're on their iPad chatting with their friends. Mm-hmm. So that's been the only, and then their classes. So when they have their sports, that's the only other opportunity they have to interact with kids.
Kind of be interactive. Your daughter Sedona was one of our very first students in our Kuk Sool program here at Summit Fitness. And it's been such a joy to see her mature through the years, and now she's almost a brown belt. It's amazing.
Has it been 2 years? Or
yeah,
3
it's
years?
going to be 2 years in February.
Okay.
So we're at about the 18-month mark, about a year and a half.
I remember, when she first started, and I wasn't sure what activity to put her in, because we tried dance and that didn't work out. She didn't like that. And we tried soccer like her sister, and that didn't work out either. So we thought, okay, when you approached me about the class, I said, okay, that's different. It's not karate, because I didn't know much about martial arts, and when I started looking into it, I found that it was interesting. It's a different philosophy, and I thought that would probably be a good match. So she's really enjoyed it.
It's been great having her in the class, and I thank you for giving our program a try at the very beginning.
It's been great.
Yeah. Now have you noticed with the virtual classes for her, and then our addition of the park classes, how has that been beneficial to her?
Well, she loves the virtual classes. I know I love them too, because if we're somewhere, she can tune in. And thank you so much for being able to accommodate, because obviously we didn't know how things were going to play out, but you and Krista jumped in right away, and you put together that program.
Krista called me up. I think back on this now, and it was such a whirlwind. And what day did we get shut down officially? I think it was maybe March 16th.
Yeah, because
we just passed the 7-month mark.
Okay.
So I think she called me up on March 15th, and said, hey, we need to start looking at a virtual option. And I had already been working that day troubleshooting a virtual option for our boot camp class. And I said, absolutely, let's get on the phone right now and let's troubleshoot this. And then, what was it, a day later or 2 days later, we got shut down. And, you know, if she hadn't said, hey, let's do this, we would have, you know, spent 2 or 3 weeks trying to figure out what to do. And so that was definitely just kind of a whirlwind of, I don't know if we're going to need this, but I guess we should probably figure out how to make it work. And we were trying to make it work on that TV up there, but we just decided laptop, keep it simple.
Yeah, sometimes it takes that intuition too, right? Sometimes you think, oh, I'm not sure, but preparation is everything. I mean, I even see it in my work too. You have to be prepared just in case, so you have a plan A, plan B, plan C, and you can, you know, ride out the rough waters when something happens.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad to hear that she's enjoyed the virtual. And then when we made the decision to go out to Villa Verde Park, I was just beginning to sense that our kids were getting a little stir crazy, just being at home and not being around other kids. So being able to provide an outdoor, safe environment for them to interact in person. What has your thought been on the virtual, the outdoor training?
Oh, it's been fun. I mean, it gets us out too.
Yeah.
Some nice fresh air, but it's great for them to interact. Every Saturday we look forward to going to the class at the park, and when she gets home, you know, she doesn't feel the strain of being, you know, because I mean, they think we're still kind of in that unknown safe stay at home order in a way. I don't know what to think anymore, but I know that we shouldn't be out because then that creates more exposure. So we need to limit ourselves and the interaction we have out in the public. So for having this class once a week, it kind of breaks up everything that's happening, you know, at home.
Yeah, that's so good to hear, and I just love seeing your dog at the park. And I love that multiple family members are coming out. It almost seems like it's turned into one of our best community events. I remember our very first park day, and I think both you and your husband were there, and maybe your
My
father
dad,
came, your older daughter came, and then we had that, you know, with all the families, and it was just this big get-together of, oh my gosh, let's do something different. And I thought that was just so cool.
And I think as parents, we really enjoy seeing our kids in their activities. So I know that for my dad, for example, right now he doesn't get to see them every day. So he loves to go to the park or take her to the class when we're not able to. And he likes that interaction as well. So sometimes if we weren't able to see the class or, you know, when we had it in the studio before and here, we wanted to see what they were doing. We're curious to see what they were doing. So at the park, it gives us the opportunity to check it all out.
Yep. Well, I think we're definitely going to keep the park going.
I love it.
This is such a good community event.
And it's good for people to know what you do too, because there aren't many of these studios as far as the instruction, as far as I know. You're like one of a kind in this area, right?
Oh, for Kuk Sool Won, we are the only Kuk Sool Won in the Inland Empire. And then Kuk Sool Won is a very special martial art. It's a systematic study that is its own all-encompassing system. And what makes it different is that we have one grandmaster and we have one way of teaching and doing our art. So there's a couple of different martial arts. Over the years, they've branched off. There's different kind of a vein that goes this direction, a vein that goes this direction, and even though it might fall under the same name, you may get a little bit of different teaching. Mm-hmm. But what's really cool about Kuk Sool Won is that every year we go and we do a unification seminar. It's called CEP, and it's held at the headquarters in Houston, Texas, and it's with all the headquarters masters, and it's with the grandmaster. And we focus, so every school owner has been given the distinct honor of having a school by the headquarters and by the grandmaster, Kuk Sool Won. And so we really take it as a responsibility to make sure that we pass the art down correctly to our students. And so we have textbooks that we follow, and that, you know, us as instructors, we're constantly referring to our textbooks. Okay, let me make sure I taught that correctly. So we really are the only Kuk Sool Won that's licensed in the Inland Empire. There's another school out in Sherman Oaks. There's another school out in Sylmar. There's a small school out in Huntington, and then I believe there's another school out in Palmdale. So that's kind of the entire Southern California.
That's
right
incredible, because it's very unique.
Yes.
And very special to be a part of. So
Yeah.
I know Sedona has been, you know, just, I could see the difference in when she first started to now. And I think also too that has to do with the instructors, because you and Krista really inspire the kids. You have done such a great job, and I've seen a lot of teachers, you know, when they do other activities, but you guys provide mentorship.
Thank you.
And that's like the first thing that I saw, and I said, wow. And I don't even know if you have kids or not. But
My husband and I don't.
Okay. And I don't know if Krista has
She
kids.
doesn't have kids either.
And you guys are amazing with the kids.
Thank you.
You know, I would not think that I thought maybe you had kids, and the way you handle the classes with the kids and the virtual classes as well, because that's not easy to keep them engaged, but you guys are so great with it. So I think the level of mentorship and the message that you bring to each, you know, class is really helped them develop as little people and being more focused too.
And that's our goal. This is not just a martial art, and it's not just let's learn our forms and learn our techniques, but the unique experience that I had training in this martial art growing up, as I was growing up and doing it, I didn't really see all of the encompassing benefit of it. But as I got into college, and as I went through a career in music, and as I kind of just got into fitness and other business, I started to realize I have this work ethic, and I don't know where it came from. And then I thought back to, my instructor as a kid really pushed me to do more than I thought I could do. And the martial art itself set up really systematic goals. And I'm a very goal-oriented person. If I can see what the next goal is, I'm gonna hit it. And so I started to really reflect on, you know, just how important that time was as a kid, and spending that from, I believe I started when I was 9 years old all the way till 18.
Oh, wow.
Before I went to college. And it was just an invaluable experience. I just could not imagine, you know, where I would be as an adult if I hadn't trained in Kuk Sool as a child, because of all of the different lessons that it taught me about perseverance, hard work, exercise, being sore, that it's okay to be sore, you know, that talent is not everything. There's going to be some people who are going to be better than you, but you can always work harder to be better if it's something that is your goal. And so when starting this program, that was one of the most important things that I wanted to, and that Krista and I came together, and that we wanted to make sure that we were passing on to the kids and to the teens and even to the adults is, you know, you can do more than you think you can do. And it's going to be hard. We're going to push you, and we're going to challenge you, but we're not going to set you up to fail. It is a community, and everyone comes together and lifts each other up. So
I think that's so important nowadays, because it's so hard to raise kids in this environment, in this world we live in. And kids need to find how to cope, right? How to cope, how to get through. There's, you know, bullying that happens in schools, and kids don't know how to cope. And I think being involved in something like this allows them to get, you know, work through it.
absolutely. We're part of the Martial Arts Schools Against Bullying Association, and that's why we just teach respect. That's why Kuk Sool Warriors show respect, practice hard, never give up, protect ourselves, never bully others, use might for right, Kuk Sool. And for someone, I think, who's even going through bullying, to be able to say, you know, I'm learning how to be a stronger person, and I'm learning self-defense, but I'm also learning to diffuse situations. It's such an empowering feeling, as opposed to feeling I'm getting bullied and I don't know what to do about it.
Yeah.
So.
That's very powerful, and, you know, just for mental health too. I think, you know, as adults, because you do teach the adult classes as well. I think, you know, since we don't have mental health programs.
Well, fitness was our mental health program.
Fitness is the best way, but also too, just learning the philosophies and learning that you can do more, and you know, just to believe in yourself.
Absolutely. Mental health is a very complex issue, and, you know, for anyone dealing with mental health issues, it's never to be taken lightly. But, you know, coming at that kind of introspective and seeing if there's a couple of things like that, you know, in that class, like, hey, I just proved to myself what I'm able to do. And then, especially for women too, it's a real passion of mine, women's self-defense. And just teaching women that they're strong and that they have a voice and that they need to use that voice.
Yeah,
and it's
instilling the confidence.
Instilling the confidence, and this would be a whole nother conversation.
To be continued.
To be continued.
But no, it's absolutely, it all kind of works together, right? Because you start, especially like with my daughter, you start at a young age, and then it kind of develops over time into something else, and it helps you into your next phase of life. So it's all about building blocks.
I'm so excited to see, because she's in 5th grade right now?
She's in 4th grade.
She's in 4th grade.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so excited to see when she gets into junior high, just where her confidence level is, and with all the experience of, Kuk Sool Won is not easy. It's a lot of memorization. She's learned a lot of techniques, she's learned a lot of forms, and
Another language.
a whole nother, she's learning Korean.
She knows Korean.
It just makes school so much easier, I think, for kids when they're like, well, I mean, memorization, I need to memorize, 20 facts for this test. Well, I've already memorized 300 techniques. Oh, okay. No problem.
Yeah,
So.
she has fun with, learning. She's like, Mom, I know Korean. I said, really? And she says, yeah, I can count to 10. I can say this. Like, wow. And so she is exploring that culture as well. Just so you know, she was learning.
She's into K-pop.
Yes, she loves she loves BTS. Mm-hmm. She loves Korean food.
Yeah.
She's all into banana milk.
I haven't heard of that. What's that?
Banana milk. Well, it's just milk that tastes like banana, but I don't know exactly what it's made out of. But when we went there's a Korean restaurant in Laverne, in downtown Laverne, and she ordered it. The owner kind of looked at her and said, "Are you sure you want to try it?" And she's like, "Yeah, I want to try it." And it's because one of the singers from BTS that's his favorite drink. So
That's so cool. That's awesome.
So it's just, exposing her to new things as well. But yeah, she's my little warrior. I've seen such a growth with her, and I let her express herself. So like, I was raised differently, it's just a different generation of parenting, I guess, and with us having so much access to social media and things happening, we didn't have that back then. So now our kids are exposed to so much more, but I let her voice her opinion. If she doesn't agree with something, okay, then go ahead, let's talk about it. What do you think? And now that we're having the election, she really expresses herself. So my husband says, "You can't say that." But I said, but if you don't say something, then you're never going to be heard. So maybe we're creating a different generation. Maybe we're creating the ones that are going to step up and are not afraid,
Absolutely.
So.
Wow. I really admire your parenting, you and your husband, and just your philosophies, and just what a good home environment you guys have. So
Thank you. We try. It's not always perfect, but
it's never. It is what it is, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But we try. I mean, we have our days where math homework is just, it defeats us. 4th grade math homework is so difficult.
Yeah.
But we get through it, and we start over the next day.
Yeah.
So.
And I think that's the theme. we get through it, and every day starts fresh.
That's great.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time today, and I'm going to go ahead and link your business info.
Oh, thank you.
Underneath the YouTube video for anyone who's interested in, checking out if they're looking to buy a house or if they're looking to list a house. Do you do any other services?
I do. A lot of people have come to me saying they want to purchase homes maybe out of state or in another country, so I offer that as well, because that's very unique as well. So I don't do property managing, but I can refer you to someone wonderful that can do. And then I've done some commercial, actually I'm doing a commercial transaction right now, but any question they might have, I'm here for advice. That's like my ultimate goal, is to guide people so that they can make their best decision for themselves.
Well, great. I'm going to link your info below.
Thank you.
For anyone
Thank
that
you
has
so
questions.
much. Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. I'm so glad I had the opportunity to exercise at your gym first, and then this led us here. So it's been such an honor.
Thank you.